part of the whole crowd, so we come out of the audience. And I see our function in the piece as commenting, supporting, backing up, just being a really strong group together. And when we're first discovered, when we rise up above the rest of the crowd, I think for me, that's a massively important moment, because it's when we as this specific group of women kind of join together and voice what we feel, and then are together for the rest of the piece, commenting on the piece. So for me, that first moment of rising out of the crowd is one of the most important points for us. That's what I would say.
And they also push the action further as well, and they can sometimes interfere and maybe give Medea what their thoughts are. And yeah, we are amongst the audience at the very, very beginning. So it's almost like we're audience members. And like Fletcher's saying, we step up onto our stools, and it's super empowering.
Yeah, it is. And when we start, the first point when we speak together is really, really powerful, I think. Yeah,
for sure.
So we all kind of find our own person. I think for me, I'm myself within the chorus, as part of the chorus, as part of this group of women. We can't overact, we can't be too tiny. There has to be a strong group sense, but being an individual within it. So for different parts, we will all feel differently, and we have to show that in a small way, much as we're all moving the action forward at the same time, in the same way. We all have different feelings about it, but we were told not to overact, weren't we?
That's right.
No overacting required in this piece.
We can't get too invested in our emotional journey.
No, because there were bits that some of us were, and we had to ask, we had to say, please tell us, you know, if we are overacting, please tell us. So that's what they had to do. So they had to pick ones out and go, you're overacting, you're overacting, you're overacting, and you weren't allowed to do that. So it's just about developing yourself within a group, which I don't think any of us had done before. So it was really fascinating doing it.
And we are all individual people as a group of 10, but the chorus is one physical being. So we are all, you know, we do have our own individual personalities, but we're all acting as one, and we're speaking chorally, and that's like really, really challenging as well.
Really challenging.
Really challenging.
So challenging.
It is, it really is. And because we've got to have the same intonations, and certainly at the beginning of the process, we were all, that's something that we found the most tricky, and we were trying to really, really get it. So what we would do is we would hear how someone else would maybe say the line, and then we would copy that, and then we would do it again to really, really get it into our bodies. So we all sounded like one voice.
Yeah, so we were always in rehearsals when Adura was rehearsing, and then we'd discuss which points were that the chorus were kind of pushing her on, like almost like, you know, a tabloid newspaper going, yeah, do it. And then suddenly they go, oh, hang on a minute. But that was discovered through rehearsal, you know, and it was lovely. It was really joyous, wasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. But there was a lot of times where we were maybe on the floor on top of our stools, but then it was changed to us maybe being closer to Adura on the stage, and we just sort of played around with it and what felt best for the scene. There's one particular moment in the play where we're all holding on to Adura's hand, and it's super, super impactful because we're connecting with her. We have agreed to her plan, and this is what we're going to do. Yeah, we were trying to figure out what would be the best way for us to get to that point, and what our positioning would be, because for quite a long time we were on the floor for quite a lot of the play. But then we thought we should be up on the stage with the principals and about the action.
We did quite a bit of movement exercise as well. We did quite a lot of movement and moving as one. So if one of us moved, we kind of moved in the same style as that person. So we did quite a lot of work with that, and just loads of voice stuff. It was quite fascinating because Michael wanted us as the chorus in the room a lot while he was rehearsing the principals. So quite a lot of the time, I thought we'd be in another room actually doing the choral stuff. But Michael wanted us to be present in the room while he was doing the principals, so that they got the feel of us being there and we got the feel of the actual piece. So it was really, it wasn't what I expected was going to happen, but again, I think it worked really well. So we did have opportunities to go off and work on our own in another room, but a lot of the time was spent all together.
And we have to sense quite a lot of the time when other chorus members are moving around. I remember us doing exercises, walking backwards and trying not to bump into anyone.
Oh, yes, that was very important.
It was very, very important because we actually do that in the play. We're all in a cluster on the stage and then we all disperse and we have to walk backwards.
Yes.
So we have to sort of like tap into that and try and sense where people are on the stage. So we've done that a lot in the little movement sessions that we had. And it was actually really beneficial us being in the main space with the principals, because we got that chance to feel what it was like being all spread out. And then when we came together on the stage. So I did really, really enjoy that.
I think it's great for an audience to see inclusion, and that should happen all the time. It's as simple as that. It should just be everything that is done should be all inclusive.
There's certainly been times in rehearsals where I've maybe found things tricky, but I've had to just speak up and talk about how we can work through it and how it would be the most accessible. But it's been really, really brilliant. And I would, maybe turn to Fletcher or turn to another actor in the chorus and ask them if they can audio describe something to me that's maybe happening in rehearsals or something like that. Talking about the relationship between an actor and a director, I felt totally comfortable about coming up to Michael and saying, I might have to clarify this. Could I just have a couple of minutes just to figure this out with the actors in the chorus? And the chorus have been brilliant in just jumping in and being like, right, Brooke, let's figure out this particular bit. So, you know where you are on the stage and
you know what the cues are.
You know what the cues are and things like that. So it's been really, really great. And we've had conversations about lighting, and I hold quite a lot of actors' hands whenever I'm walking, whether it be on the floor or on the stage, Fletcher being one of them. And it actually kind of works. It sort of looks like a mother-daughter relationship, which is which is another theme within the play. Yeah, absolutely. And then we have B, who is a deaf performer. And they have been absolutely wonderful about speaking out things that they need clarified.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
they've been great at that. And sometimes the chorus can all talk together at the same time. And B has to say, you can't do that because I can't keep up with that. And that's really important. And we've really learned to put up our hands one at a time if B's present so that they can follow everything that we're saying. But it's been great. And again, B doesn't sign everything. And we had an integrated performance, an integrated sign performance, which was great as well. There's loads of themes within the piece that are universal and are throughout time. There's love, there's revenge. They're the two main ones, really, love and revenge. And when we first we're doing the piece, I was thinking, she's really horrible and all that Medea and all that kind of thing. But actually, when you think about it, the time that this was written, so it's the time of the gods, and she has been struck by this arrow, by Cupid. She has no choice but to love Jason for the whole of her life. She has been struck with this arrow. If she can't love him, then she has to hate him. There's no in-between for her as that character. And although we're not in modern times struck by that arrow, that sense of complete and utter love, and then someone betrays you. Betrayal is another theme that's massive within the piece. That betrayal, then what do you do? Now, in those times, yes, it's far more extreme than what we would do now, but that theme is constant throughout life. Love, betrayal, revenge, they're all there.
Yeah, it's so The themes are so relatable to the times that we're living in now. You know, we still have difficulties within our relationships, whatever forms they take. We still have to make painful decisions in our life, even though, you know, Medea's decisions are very
extreme
and drastic, and like no one would ever, you know, think of doing that today because your subconscious would be like, no, shouldn't do that. But absolutely, the themes of love and motherhood and womanhood. It's an incredibly feminist piece.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
there's, you know, the majority of the cast are predominantly women. I think it's so relatable to audiences today.
Yeah, and the whole thing of the womanhood and the sisterhood supporting Medea and almost encouraging her at one stage to really go for it. And then, but when they find out that Glauci is pregnant, they back off. As soon as you talk about children, everything for the chorus changes, I would say. When children become involved, they are altered completely with the support they have from Medea.
Yeah, because they've sort of gone along with her plan, agreed with her plan that Jason should suffer. Like, how could he possibly do that to you? But then when she mentions that she is going to kill her children, that's when they back away and they think, no, you can't do that at all. There's a moment when we hear the manservant say to Medea that Medea's children have given the presents to Glauci, and that's something that really hits us. That's like right down at the pit of our stomach, and we think, and we just slump down to the floor because we think, okay, well, that is the children's fate set in stone, and they are to be doomed. And like quite a lot of the chorus stuff is incredibly earthy and gritty and full of gravitas, and that's something that just really hits us in the core. So we can't do anything but you know, slump to the floor. So that was really interesting, trying to figure out all of those different levels.
The first moment that we speak together, I think, is massive, because that's the coming together of the women. We voice how we feel about her cry, and we all feel the same about her cry. So that is the first thing for me. Then we come on the stage, we go back into the crowd, and then once we see how Creon behaves with her, we support her again. The next turning point for me probably would be the announcement of Glauci's baby. The next one would be her vocalising that she's going to kill her own children. And then the final one when we try to stop her.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And it's that way where, you know, the chorus do have a mind of their own.
Yes.
You know, they are with Medea. They are physical beings. They can't be seen by all of the characters, but they, you know, they're sometimes a part of Medea's subconscious, or but like they are there. And yeah, I think they interfere with their own thoughts, and talking about when she says that she's going to kill the children, that is like a massive blow to them. And the chorus have a big speech about how, you know, she could never ever do something like that. And you know, isn't this what a mother is like supposed to do? And then they talk about all of these things, and then they're like down on their knees begging her not to do that. And up until that point, they've been like with her the entire time. I think because we're wearing quite contemporary costumes as well, so I think people mistake us for audience members, and they'll come up and have like chats with us before the show, which is lovely, which is really nice, and you can just sort of like pretend like you're a punter, which is great. And being in amongst the crowd, like right in the body of the crowd, it's really good, because you can hear people laughing at Liz's really witty writing. And even though it is a Greek tragedy, it is very brutal what happens, but it is Liz Lockhead. So, you know, there's like so many funny moments within the play. And just sort of, it's like super refreshing when you hear audience members laugh, because we've been rehearsing it for about 4 or 5 weeks, and then we'd
forgotten it was funny.
We've forgotten it was funny, and then you hear people laughing, and you think, oh, I didn't realise that was a funny bit. Maybe it is a funny bit, and so that's lovely. Really
I think
nice.
the costume design's been really interesting. I think we're all in kind of grey and black, and I think they've again, they've tried to get different styles for all of us, so we represent all different kinds. Well, we do, as people, represent the whole of womanhood anyway.
It's really lovely that the costumes are so modern, and I think it makes it accessible for younger audience members as well. And you know, we're still playing the time if it was set in like 4th century BCE, but we're still in modern costumes, so all the principals have got their you know, suits on, getting ready for Jason and Glauc's wedding, and that's it. And it just makes it more fun and more accessible for maybe some, you know, school kids that come along and see the show.